Hello class. Next up on our little series of animal heads that I'm putting out, I'm going to be showing you how to make a horse head for, again, decorative bottle openers, maybe a decorative hook. I've actually even seen people do this and use the head of it like a can opener, you know, to puncture like a can of soup or something like that. This one, unlike the pug that I made in the previous video, this one I did make long enough to actually make a bottle opener with it. I didn't feel the need to actually do that on this piece because I have put out that basic bottle opener video, and if you want to know how to do that, it would basically be the exact same thing, but you would have to be mindful not to mess up the head as you're working on the bottle opener. So let's get into it.
So once again, we're starting with this 1/4 inch by 1 inch bar stock, and I am just going in and rounding off the corners. As you can see, I am hanging a small piece off of the edge of the anvil so that that becomes a distinct point, and that is intentional on my behalf. That point is going to become the ear of the horse. So whereas in previous projects we would have you guys keep the entirety of the bar on the anvil while you're driving down the corners, here we actually want you to upset part of that outwards. Next, we're going to make a cut where the face is going to become distinct from the body of the bottle opener. And these next two cuts that you're going to see me make are really the big part of why horses are a little bit challenging, because I can't actually give you distinct dimensions for where I'm cutting. I know that I'm cutting at a little bit more aggressive than a 45-degree angle, but other than that, the location of it is really going to be up to you, and that's just something you have to get a feel for. You want to make sure that it looks well proportioned for when you are finishing. The next part after you have the neck cut is you're going to cut off a little bit at the of the point at the front of the face to make the snout of the horse nice and distinct. And then we are going to go in with a fuller so that we can clean up that head to neck transition a little bit. So you're just going to lay it on its side, stick the fuller into the just below where the muzzle of the horse is, and you're going to drive that down at an angle, holding the fuller at an angle that matches the angle of the cut. And again, the fullering and the cutting that you make, that's just something you have to get a feel for to make it look nice and aesthetically pleasing. We're going to clean up that fuller transition with a slightly larger fuller to make it look nice and rounded and clean. And then one of the last things that we're going to do with the tooling is we're going to go in with the chisel again and cut off a little bit, well, not cut off, but chisel in a little bit so that we can make some lips for the horse. The next thing we're going to do is take it over to the corner of the anvil and start hammering out the mane to make it look a little bit thicker so that the neck doesn't seem so scrawny in comparison to the rest of the horse. Once we have that drawn out slightly, we're going to come back with the fuller again and put in some lines to give the illusion of hair. Now I do want to keep these fullers kind of close together. If you want to do this with a chisel instead, just to put in lines, that would be a little bit easier if you're having trouble swinging your hammer with a lot of power. And this is the eye punch that I referenced in the pug video. On the pugs, I don't think it looks super natural, but it really complements how the horses look, how this style of horse looks anyway. So you're just going to put that in, at a little bit of an angle that is complementary to the angle of the head. And once you have that in, all you have to do is brush it. I ended up cleaning up the snout area a little bit with a file, but yeah, just brush it and wax it, and that is your horse.